I mean, his numbers are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'd have to study this in a little bit more detail in order to like fully understand it, but
And I
uh,
mean, are obviously great numbers. As Pan Popper would point out that, these, good looking tests does not necessarily mean health. And you could end up, and I'm not saying this about what he's doing, but you could end up with, when you're looking at making all your numbers perfect, you can be doing things that harm yourself. And in the worst case scenario, you can end up dead with really beautiful blood work, right?
yeah, well said, well said.
So, all right. So I am going to put it out to the audience to ask a few questions here. Um, so Anna Tina, go ahead, state where you're from and ask your question.
Hi, I'm from New York. Hi, Cyrus. I've
How you
been
doing? How you
following and
doing?
learning from you so much. You're the best teacher in the world.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have an 88-year-old friend who was he was pre-diabetic and on medication for about 15 years. He was on Januvia, which is sitagliptin,
Great.
till about 2018, where I was able to persuade him, possibly with the book of Mastering Diabetes, that he changed his diet. And within 11 days, he got jittery, he got hypoglycemic symptoms. And 2018, he stopped all meats and butters. And then a little later, his blood sugar was around 120s. And he further stopped the oils and Parmesan cheese, and he's totally eating your diet, mostly
Amazing.
50% the green and 50% the yellow foods. However, over the years, his fasting blood sugar has been climbing from the 120s to the 140s, sometimes 150s fasting blood sugar. Um, we had gotten him, thanks to your book, to do a C-peptide. He's in France.
Good.
Doctors were a little spoofed, and his C-peptide fasting was 2, went up to 2.5 postprandial. But he's saying, well, now it's my new normal, 140. I feel fine on 140. Um, what what advice would you give him?
Okay, so his glucose is climbing. His C-peptide, he took a C-peptide measurement recently and got a 2.0. Um, does he exercise on a daily basis?
He's a martial arts teacher, still at his age,
Okay.
and woodworker. So he's while he's not exercising like at the gym, he's physically active, lifting heavy stuff.
Okay. Um, I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but cardiovascular exercise is incredibly important. So oftentimes when I tell people to become active, they go, okay, cool, sweet. I go to the gym. I work out at the gym and they lift heavy objects, which is awesome. No problem with that. But what I think people underestimate is the power of accelerating your heartbeat. Okay. So if he can, maybe you can help dig this information up, or maybe you can tell him this. If he can get his heartbeat, basically his heart rate up to what's considered like zone 3 for him, which is basically going to be between 60 to 70% of max heart rate. If he can get up into the zone 3 level for 30 minutes per day, 3 days a week, watch as his fasting glucose comes way down. He may, if he's already doing that, awesome.
He's not getting there because he has shortness of breath. He has a one of his heart valves is kind of calcified.
Okay.
He gets even walking fast. He would like to do more, but he gets short of breath.
Okay. Okay.
For
Okay.
him to push,
That's ill advised. Does he,
and he has AFib.
he has AFib. Okay. Got it. Now,
Untreated and doesn't really bother him.
what about his, is he overweight?
No.
Normal weight?
Well, he lost a lot of weight going totally vegan, non-fat, no
Okay.
salt. What is his advice? Should I tell him it's okay? Okay, you feel fine on 140. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to take away the cashew nuts or whatever the last yellow foods. He likes bread.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last thing that I would do is I would use a food logging app called Chronometer.
Uh-huh.
Chrono meter. We use that all the time. Teach him how to use Chronometer, have him log his food intake, and try and figure out how many total grams of fat and protein and carbohydrate he's eating per day. Okay. Ultimately, what I think he might be doing is he might be over consuming on his fat intake without knowing it.
Yeah.
Our general target recommendation is to get somewhere around 30 grams of fat per day, because that seems to be a a threshold above which insulin resistance can start to climb. So if he's measures his total food intake and he's at 52 grams of fat per day, bring it down and watch as his fasting glucose also comes down.
I guess I'll have to do that for him. He gets very, I don't want to do more things. I'm already changed all of this stuff, and this is just the way it is now for me.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm not going to do chronometer. I don't want to like become a medical, patient of myself. But I'll do it for him. I'll try.
Yeah, try helping him out with that, and then see, just do it, just enter it with curiosity and see what numbers result, because if he's significantly above 30, then that could be a very simple change to make.
Yeah. What can I tell him would be the risk of being at fasting sugar of 140 on a regular basis?
What's the risk?
He starts feeling hypoglycemic when he's on 115 or something like that.
Yeah, so effectively, oftentimes when you have a high blood glucose on a sort of daily basis, when your blood glucose comes down below that value, you can get what's called phantom hypoglycemia, which means that your brain thinks that you're actually hypoglycemic when you're not.
Gotcha.
Right. So if he'll adjust over the course of time, and he'll stop feeling that. But have him come down slowly over the course of time and just try.
The negative promoters of what's the risk if he stays on 140?
Yeah, so we don't want him to stay on 140 because that can lead to it can lead to cardiovascular issues. It can lead to atherosclerotic plaques building up over the course of time.
Okay, the regular things that any other. Okay.
Exactly. Increased risk for nerve damage. Like, we don't want to go down that route. Increased risk for Alzheimer's and dementia in his brain over the course of time.
You would not like that. Thank you, Cyrus.
For sure, for sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hearing that, and I have no idea what's going on in this guy's situation, but it makes me think of people's perception of what they eat and perhaps what they share with others, what they're actually eating. If somebody deviates from their supposedly perfect diet and they feel guilty about it themselves, they may end up not sharing that with somebody else. Say, oh no, I did great and I've done perfect. How do you find people's psychological barriers for people, balancing trying to be good with their tendency to fall back into old habits or to be in denial of what they're actually consuming?
So repeat the question one more time.
How do you find, do you find that sometimes people are in denial of what they're actually consuming, essentially?
Yeah. Most of the time people are in denial about what they're consuming. Yes. That's why we teach people how to, use a food log, because if you food log honestly, then the food log doesn't lie. Right. And so it's very easy to think that you're eating one way and then tell yourself a story that it's actually the truth, but in reality, it's not. I mean, I remember when I made my diet change, I had to log my food intake, for the better part of a week. I was shocked. I was shocked at what was on that piece of paper. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh God, that's what I'm doing to myself? That doesn't make any sense.